Hey everybody, this is Modern Refugee. I wanted to do this video here and I wanted to talk a little bit about off-grid hygiene. Now, when I was a kid growing up, our bathroom in our old farmhouse was very Spartan. It didn't have a lot of the things that we've grown accustomed to here in more modern times. And we did have an old cast iron bathtub, but we didn't have a water heater in the old farmhouse until I was probably about 8 or 9 years old. I could still remember when they put a water heater in our house, which meant if you wanted to take a bath or clean up or anything like that, you had to physically heat the water to put it in that old cast iron bathtub. So you can see heating water on a stove or a wood stove to fill up a cast iron bathtub, or at least half full, so you could go ahead and take a bath. You can see where that was a big undertaking, which meant we didn't get a bath. If we got a bath, once a week or once every 10 days, that was about it. So then what we had was sponge baths, and that's what we use. And I think anybody that's in the prepping community where there could be a chance where there could be, some type of disruption of water for one reason or another, or, the systems that we've grown accustomed to here, natural gas, hot water, that kind of stuff. If that would happen to go down, how you would go ahead and keep up your hygiene. And sponge baths were a big thing when I was a kid, especially when I was younger. And there were lots of times I cleaned myself up with a pitcher of water, and basically the equivalent of what a dishpan would be nowadays. And when I moved out and, kind of got out on my own, I still reverted back to that line of thinking. So one of the things that I got myself was a pitcher and a wash basin, and I keep it here. And mine's actually kind of a fancier one. I picked it up at a flea market or something back in the day, but I'm going to show this to you guys here. This is my wash basin here, and then, of course, the pitcher to hold the water. And I just keep this stuff on my dresser because that's usually where they kept items like this. And I have a particular dresser that was actually made for a wash basin that has two little towers on either side, and it has a flat spot in the center to set my wash basin, and that's where I leave it. And it's there if the occasion ever comes around where I have to use this. I've got it here. I'm a big one for, hiding preps as decor, just like my old coffee grinder that can grind wheat into flour. Those things, it just looks like somebody's interested in antiques. And but that antique stuff, if you buy the right stuff, can be multifunctional like this. But if you don't want to get the fancy stuff like that, a plastic pitcher and a plastic dishpan will work just fine. So then you need something to wash off with. So then that gets into washcloths. I guess the modern thing would be loofahs now, but there was always a stack of washcloths at the house when I was growing up, and I try to keep at least a good handful of these around. I especially will pick these up if they're on clearance. Washcloths have a lot of different purposes, not just for hygiene. They're good to have around. And then that gets to soap. I make soap every few years. I'll make a big batch of soap, a couple of different flavors, as it were. And I think that's another skill I think preppers need to learn how to do, is make soap. Now, if you have a big bottle of lye, which is available nowadays, a big bottle of lye can make a lot of soap, and then you save any fat from anything that you've cooked, whatever, or you can use lard. My preferred method is lye and lard, and then you can add different things into it. This is pine tar soap, and I did a video on pine tar soap, homemade pine tar soap, and talking about soap years ago. I'll put a link in the description for that video as well. Pine tar soap has a lot of medicinal purposes. It's good for problems on the skin, poison ivy, eczema, that kind of stuff. Pine tar soap is good to go. And as a general rule, pine tar soap was a man's soap because it has sort of a manly cologne type smell to it. And when you're making soap, you can add different things into it to give the different scent that you want. Like for the men, it's pine tar soap, and for the ladies, you can put in like lavender oil or something like that. Tea tree oil is another thing that's more of an antiseptic type soap that you can use. But if you can make yourself some soap, you have yourself some washcloths put up, you have a pitcher and you have some type of wash basin, and you have a little private area where you can wash up on. Now you've got kind of the basics for a off-grid, hygiene system if something takes place. And it's something that's not talked about much. People kind of gloss over these kind of things here. It's kind of a personal thing, giving yourself a sponge bath, but I figured it was something that we needed to discuss, so I wanted to go ahead. Basic hygiene can prevent a lot of other problems down the road, so I wanted to touch base on it. Like I said, I'll put a link in the description for that soap making video as well, but I just wanted to touch base here on the old school wash basin and pitcher. Anyways, this is Modern Refugee. I appreciate all my subscribers out there. Hope you guys get a little information, a little entertainment, some ideas, again, as usual, out of my video, and you guys have a good one.